Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Our World Hour of Power. Here with Lady Pauline and my co-host, Mr. Glenn Greenwich, the Honorable Mayor of Southern Boulevard. Welcome, Glenn. Hi, how are you?
I'm great. How you doing?
I'm good. We have a guest today. She's an author by the name of Miss Simmons. And before we get started, we always have to pay those bills. So, Glenn.
Okay. Hi, I want to let you know about some exciting events happening at the Black Spectrum Theater on Fridays. November 6th, reunion in Bartersville. On November 13th, Five Guys. On November 20th, The Great Parade. November 27th, Holiday Comedy Concert. Go to www.blackspectrum.net, select Season Pass 2020-2021. Enter your payment, or you can call us at 718-723-1800 from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Okay, that's great. Welcome, Miss Simmons, to our World Hour Power Show. I see that you're from Astoria, Queens. So I always love to cover these lovely stories of inspiration. Um, I see that you have written two books. So let's start from the beginning. You was raised in Queens, New York, and you was in which set of New York City housing?
I was raised in Astoria Projects, Queens, and yeah, I was raised in Astoria Projects from the time I can remember as a kid.
Okay. And what was that like?
It was a struggle. It was very difficult for Black woman, of color to grow up in the projects, where everyone around you was basically struggling the same way, poor, trying to manage, and coming from where I'm the oldest sibling, it was about time and very difficult. And for that was when the crack kind of like struggling the same way, by the devastation, trying to manage in the projects.
Okay. I know it's very difficult growing up in city housing. Um, Tell me, how did that shape your life?
It shaped my life because it made me realize that at that time I was, less fortunate than others. I wasn't rich, I was basically poor. And it just made me think, like, it made me want to, like, daydream and escape outside, to another world. Sometimes I would daydream about doing better and being better, and just being poor was just like, oh, it was just like a crutch. And no one likes to be like, feel like they're in a world where just like everything is just like stagnated because you have no money.
Correct. I can understand that myself. Tell me, I know you have written two books, and I would like to know, how did you get inspired in writing those two books following what you just said?
It is. I was incarcerated, and I was inspired to write the books on my last incarceration bid, which was 4 years and 1 month, and that was my fourth prison sentence. And I was in Beacon Correctional Facility in 2012, and I realized that 95% of the women incarcerated have been through the same similar situation that I've been in my life, dealing with alcohol and abusive families, growing up poor, and being, going through all phases of different abuse and group homes and domestic violence relationships. So I said, my story is not unique, but I would like to start writing first my biography and try to inspire other people that, hey, you may be going through some of the similar things that I went through, maybe in the past or maybe in the present, but you can overcome it and you can make a positive light at the end of the dark tunnel. There will always be a light there if you
So,
believe and keep the faith.
so what inspired you to actually write a book? Where did that come up? Why did you choose that as your media for creativity?
I chose my biography to be creative because of all the situations that I've been through, and like I just said, there's a lot of people who've been through it, and they probably feel like alone, and they don't want to talk about it. And I could probably help somebody break them out of that shell and say, well, if this person can write a book and put her mess out there, well, maybe I should start talking about it, seek some counseling, or write about it. And writing is also a key, a journal to healing. Writing is one of the ways to heal. Talking is another way to heal, confiding in somebody that, you're very close to. Yeah, so I took writing as a key, a path to block out all the negativity that was going on in prison, the arguing, the fighting, the bickering, because I'm around a lot of women with different personalities, and it's not easy. It's not easy, but I put myself in that situation. And this time on the fourth state bid, I said, I'm going to make a negative into a positive. I wrote 5 books within the 4 years. So I still have plenty more composition notebooks full of books that I'm going to continue to pursue.
That's wonderful, Miss Simmons. And
Thank you.
also, you're studying to become a KSAC, which is great. And
Yeah,
Well,
thank
well,
you.
not everybody knows what a KSAC is, so why don't you give us some background? What is a KSAC?
ASAC is a comprehensive alcohol substance abuse field. And where you're a clinician and you are coming across people who have been basically probably referred through prison, probation, ACS, a drug treatment program. And I can identify with all of that because I've been to prison. I've been through situations where ACS and drug situations where I've had some situations where I've used drugs in the past. So I think that I would be, a good counselor in that field to have gone through a lot of what people have gone through. Because I was an intern. I was an intern for agency on East Gun Hill Road last year, and I had clients come in, especially men.
please don't tell me the name is Veritex.
Yes, they
Okay.
gave me my start, and I had men that I've counseled. I did intake, and they gave me a chance. And they used to say, "Miss Sims, I can't believe you used to go to prison." What? But I was able to identify and some of the things that people was telling me, and some of the hurt and hardship that they're going through in society, trying to get on their feet, coming out of prison, and having to go into programs.
As a matter of fact, I'm one of the persons that opened up Veritex up in the Bronx with Zoe and Zach. Yeah, yeah,
Yes, I know them very well.
yeah. I implemented quite a few of the programs there, and I also taught the KSAC class at the facility for quite a while.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's what a coincidence. What a small world.
This is
What
a
a
small
small
world.
world this is.
Yes. So tell me
So about
also. Go ahead. I'm
about the
sorry.
other
Go ahead.
book.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I wanted to find out. So you wrote an autobiography about
Hmm.
yourself, and what's the other book about?
The other book called Every Man Held Accountable. Basically, the title is self-explanatory. So to another man, it's like, oh, she's man bashing, but no, that's not it. It's, I basically it's more like a female vigilantes type stuff. And I picked a character to probably mimic some of the things that I went through growing up.
Okay.
And it's sort of a revenge plot, type of book, but it's very good. So it's a female, basically female vigilante, and she's just seeking revenge for the hurt and things that people have put her through. But it's a very, very good urban novel. It's very, very good.
So it's fictional, but it's based on some of your past experiences and so forth. And I
Right,
love the fact that you created a superhero imagery inside of that, inside of the
right,
blackness that we are. So
right.
that's very encouraging. Um,
Thank you, Glenn.
what would you say? How has writing the book prepared you for your next career?
Writing the book prepared me for my next career, which is continuing to write more books. It's making me feel more powerful. It's making me feel more confident in myself because I published one book, the autobiography, in May, and I published the other, the fictional, in July. So, and then I'm going to have the third book out, which is going to be part 2 to my autobiography, Memoirs of the Dark Chocolate Years, part 2, which is going to be called Strictly Vicious, not Astoria Projects, but it's going to be talking about me battling, leaving out of foster care, leaving the Bronx, going back to Queens to be with my grandmother and making a living for myself out of foster care, leaving behind the hurt and stuff like that, and the past, pain of little relationships with men and stuff. And yeah, that's going to be my third book, which I'm going to have out no later than December. So that'll be 3 books within a 10-month period or 8-month period since May.
Oh, that's outstanding. That's
You're a
great.
very talented young woman.
Thank you.
I know sometimes we have to go through darkness before we see the light, and it sounds like you're one of the young ladies that have done that and have accomplished great things through coming out of the light, and will continue to, especially if you become a substance abuse and alcohol counselor. It's
Thank you, Pauline.
yeah, it's
What
always great. Go ahead,
what what
Glenn.
what, what would you say is since you've come through the foster care system, and I've heard a lot of um, not nice stories about those experiences. Um, what would you say is needed to, especially for our black and brown children who are coming up through foster care? Any thoughts in terms of what could make it better, or at least make it a better situation?
Well, for our black and brown children coming up, I think, well, for me, when I, was in foster care in the 90s,
Hmm.
I was in a rough neighborhood. I was in Brownsville, and it wasn't really good for me because a lot of times the foster parents only want the money. They don't care about the well-being of the foster child. They want the money, so they don't care how they treat them. And then you have other siblings there too that I went through phases of sexual abuse with, sons and stuff like that. So when, our black and brown kids go through these foster homes, they need to do a thorough background check, not only of the foster parent, but also the children as well, especially adult children that they may have, and enforce longer classes, to see if they are psychologically fit to be a foster parent, because a lot of children have went through the foster care system and have died, and have died, And for a teenager, it was hard for me to be with another family that's, number one, they're not your blood, number two, you're a teenager, number three, you don't have either parent because one is strung out on drugs, still back in the, old neighborhood, running around and doing what, that parent wants to do, not really thinking about you because drug is a disease, it's a disease, and they couldn't help it at the time, and I couldn't understand that. And then you wind up hating your parent. But the point is that they need to do more thorough things with the foster care agencies and try to think about the kids better than what's going on, how it was back then. But now it's 2020. So I'm not saying that things are better, because now we're going through the COVID situation, but maybe the system has gotten better. I haven't heard anything on the news, but through the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s, a lot of kids had gotten killed and hurt in foster care, and I could have been one of those victims, but I did a lot of running away. I did a lot of leaving, and, I was very defiant, but I was hurt. I was hurt. I was a hurt teenager, and I had to fend for myself, so that was my situation.
I also worked for a while with ACS, and I worked in the group homes. So I understand your circumstances. Did they give you any support after you left the group home?
I mostly ran away from a lot of the group homes. I didn't stay in all of them, but there was actually no support. I mean, you were thrown in the group homes. Some of them was camp facilities for boys and girls. Yeah. Some were just that I went through in Staten Island, Brooklyn, and Queens. They were just basically all girls homes. Yeah. Or the camps were boys and girls. So I didn't really remember seeking any support. This was like '89, the end of '89. So I don't remember seeking any support from the group homes or anything like that. Then when '90 came, I was thrown into foster homes and stuff like that, living with different, foster moms.
Okay.
So let me ask you this, because it sounds like somehow your defiantness was what kind of kept you alive. So say some more about that. So what was that like for you? Obviously, you're in a strange situation and you're trying to still be your personality, or at least have some personality that you're clinging on to. What was that like for you?
Well, my defiance came from being hurt. And when you're in a situation that's new, like any human being or any animal, you have to try to adapt. And what comes with adapting is survival. So it's like, okay, it's a do or die situation. Either, I do what these people tell me to do, or I just simply don't. And there were times where I don't want to do what you want me to do. I want to do what I want to do, and I want to go back to where I feel comfortable with. So a lot of the foster homes and group homes that I ran away from, I wound up going right back to the hood, right back to my grandmother, but I couldn't stay with her because I had an uncle there who was strung out on crack, so I couldn't stay there. But I would always go back there anyway, because that's what I knew, and that's what, I believe,
and your grandmother,
my home.
Yeah, and so your grandmother really was like the backbone of your family life at that point in time, because there wasn't a whole lot of other consistency except your grandmother, it sounds like.
Yeah, my grandmother, she was the only consistent one in the family, even though she got the shitty end of the stick, from, her children, which they all turned out to be on drugs, and they didn't treat her accordingly, but, it is what it is. She was getting older and she had a lot of medical problems, and they was telling me I couldn't stay with her anyway because she was too old, or the uncle is there, he's still using drugs. Right. And I just didn't care, like whoever I ended up with, you're not my mom, you're not my grandmom, this is not my home. I don't want to be in this neighborhood, because I went through a series of group homes from the Bronx to Brooklyn, and I just, left, went back on the train, went right back. I probably stayed in a group home. The most I've stayed there was in a foster home was probably a good month, if that.
Okay.
So as a young person, you really needed some stability. You needed a safe environment that was stable, and you really never really received that. Um, did you kind of rely on being incarcerated for that kind of safety and that kind of stability?
Well, my incarceration didn't come till years later because this first
Okay.
book only reflects on the first 6 years of my life. What I did was I took 6 years and put it together and made a book out of it. So it starts from the introduction for when I was born and it ends at 93. So if you want to know what
Okay.
happens from 94 to 99, you're going to have to get the next book. It's like a
Okay.
sequel.
Okay. Okay.
But my incarceration years came later. But in the first book, I was dealing with a lot of hurt. I was a childhood thief. I stole from stores. I was the oldest. I made my brothers, come with me and do things as well, steal as well, or I threatened to beat them up. So yeah, I mean, and in my first biography, it does talk about my first arrest at 11 years old. I was never fingerprinted or booked or anything, but they arrested me, took me to the precinct, and then my uncles had to come and pick me up. But that was my first arrest at 11 years old.
And what
Got it.
was going through your
Okay.
mind at that time?
I was like, oh man, I screwed up, and I'm gonna, I know I'm gonna get an ass whipping. Like here we go again. And I was the one that always got all the ass whippings because I was just like so bad. My mother said I'm just so bad as a kid. But the beatings and the physical abuse and the verbal abuse didn't do anything. It just made me worse. People think beatings and put downs because your mouth is a sword.
Yes, I know.
And you can hit someone, the scar can go away. When you tell somebody you ain't shit, you're never going to be shit, or you're ugly, you tend to believe that, and it stays with you. And it could be 10 years later. Well, remember you said I was going to be shit, and I wasn't going to be shit, and I'm ugly. You remember that.
Yeah.
But that scar you put on me left. So
Yeah, it's
um,
very important for
yeah,
parents, grandparents that are caring for children to realize, what comes out of your mouth sort of defiles your body in the sense of when you say hurtful things to children, children do remember. And it does have a great impact on their future and how they see themselves in the world. So I truly understand that. I want to talk a little bit about your books and how you are getting them out. They're on Amazon. Uh, yeah.
yes, Amazon platform. It's on the Barnes and Nobles, excuse me, platform, and also I have my own website, lsimmons.net.
Okay.
Okay.
So you can
Okay.
also buy the books on my website platform, which just was previously, done maybe about 2 weeks ago. My website just got up about 2 weeks ago.
Excellent. Excellent. And so and are you self-published? Is that correct? Or you went to a
Yes,
publishing?
I'm self-published.
Good for
Mm-hmm.
you. Good for you. Excellent. Excellent. And
More work.
how?
More
Yes, I
work.
understand. I understand. In fact, a friend of mine was going through it and just all the reformatting and the different platforms that it's got to be formatted for, and so on and so forth. It can be quite cumbersome. But what would you advise people around self-publishing if they wanted to take that route? What would you suggest to them?
I advise anyone if you want to self-publish yourself, your brand, your book, I would strongly advise you to big publishing company where they can do all the work for you. So you're going to have to get out there and you're going to have to brand yourself, make yourself available for podcasts, TV shows, whatever you can do, you name it, you can do it. Just gonna have to put yourself out there. And I've been going to events, and sometimes I go to music events, barbecues where there's like DJs and stuff, and I'll set up my table And I'll have people come around the table, what's that? And I'll get people to buy the book. I'll get people to buy the books. And I love it because they'll go back, they'll tell this one and to that one, then they'll pass the book off to this person, to that person. And next thing you know, my sales will be going up, But yeah, self-publishing takes a lot of work.
Great. Joey, let's pay some bills now.
Oh, Joey, I don't know where Joe went to at this present moment. It's time to pay some bills, Joe. You know about bills, right?
Always about bills, right? That's hilarious.
No ticky, no laundry.
That's right. Well,
this is our producer and our editor, Mr. Joseph Swift. Just want to take my hat off to him. If it wasn't for him, we wouldn't be doing this type of work and show and stuff like that. So go ahead, Glenn, and pay your bills. Pay these bills.
Hi, I want to let you know about some exciting events happening at the Black Spectrum Theater on Fridays. November 6th, reunion in Bartersville. On November 13th, Five Guys. On November 20th, The Great Parade. November 27th, Holiday Comedy Concert. Go to www.blackspectrum.net, select Season Pass 2020-2021. Enter your payment, or you can call us at 718-723-1800 from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Back to you, Pauline.
Okay, everybody, we'd like to take this time to let you know that you're listening to Our World, Our Power radio show, and you can hear us on Spotify, iHeartRadio, and iTunes. And please follow us on our social media platforms, which is Instagram, Our World Media, and YouTube.com, Our World Media #1. And also something new that I have gotten into, and I would like the support and the help of our audience who listens to us on a regular basis. We have, if you like what you hear, if you like what you see, please give a donation of any amount to Cash App, okay, on Our World Media. And again, that's Our World Media, Cash App. Any small donation will help for us to further our show. And let's continue with Miss Simmons here. Miss Simmons, writing a book or writing books, now we're talking about also going into business for yourself. Okay. Where are you at with that? And have you gotten any support? Because Mr. Glenn Greenwich is one of the very wise gentlemen that I know that knows about business and how business is conducted. So this is also a platform for people in the community that has started. Yes. Right. So please give your wisely advice.
Well, first of all, I wanted to reach out and ask, have you considered becoming a minority and women business enterprise certified as a writer, as an author? You familiar with being an MWB?
No, I'm not familiar with that. I am affiliated with an organization called WPA, Women's Prison Association.
Okay.
And I'm trying to actually some women and try to do motivational speaking.
Oh, great.
On my life story.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm also trying to create a podcast. I'm trying to create a podcast and YouTube live TV show. And with the assistance of Joey, he's been trying to help me with that. And I'm trying to, it's baby steps, and it's going to get there slowly but surely. Rome wasn't built in a day. So, this is a business. I invested in my books, not to get rich, but to inspire people and to hopefully have this YouTube channel so I can interview people, other small authors, talk to people
Right.
who in all areas.
Miss Simmons, can you check your connection? It's getting a little bit blurry. You're coming broken up. Can you hear us? No,
I think she just froze.
she does froze, Glenn. Yeah. But
Um,
let's continue anyway the conversation. As I always told you, Glenn, I used to work in this field of alcohol and substance abuse for many years, and also worked in group homes with teenage girls that had to be removed because of their household environment. So it's very devastating to young people. When they go into the system. It's maybe a 75% of young people that come out and they're okay and they live productive lives. But a lot of times, a lot of young people come out and they become more dysfunctional,
right.
than when they went in, you know. So I'm very glad to see that this young lady, Miss Simmons here, has, written books and also will be an inspiration when she starts working in the field of alcohol and substance abuse to other women and gentlemen that has been afflicted by this disease.
Well, one of the things I wanted to suggest, and I think that this is something for any business that's looking to expand, and I'm sure that you are looking to expand in terms of your sales and your reach. Um, there's a lot of free information that's available at your college small business development center here in Queens. Are you located in Queens? Because they've got small business development centers all over the city. So I always York College is one that's convenient and right in downtown Jamaica. Also, on Sutphin Boulevard, 9027 Sutphin Boulevard is a small business support center. And that's an area where you can get licensed for different things. You can certainly get certified. Both of these locations will certify you for free to become a minority women business enterprise certification. What that certification
Wow.
does is gives you access to city agencies that are looking for speakers, maybe looking to have a conversation around inspiring young people, so on and so forth, different programs. Of course, Department of Education may be looking for a speaker like yourself to really talk about, let people know what it's like to be incarcerated, and that's certainly not something that you would recommend, and so forth. So there are lots of benefits. Also, um, you want to take a look at where you want to be in the next 5 years and 10 years out in terms of a business plan. So how do you plan to grow your business? And again, both these organizations for free will provide you and some guidance and leadership around how do you grow your business? Where do you want to grow your business to? So let me ask you that question. Where do you want to see yourself in 5 years around this business?
I'm going to definitely get that information that you just touched on, Glenn, because that's some good information on where to brand your business. I'm going to later on try to get that information from Joey. 5 years from now, can actually see myself with more books out, doing some speaking, and just expanding, um, making a more broader picture for myself in life, as far as my writing, taking it to the next level, and with biographies and more fictional stories and things that people can read and be comfortable and just enjoy.
Um,
You know,
Go
oh,
ahead,
go ahead.
Glenn. Go ahead.
I was going to ask you, have you considered writing any children's books? Because I think that that's an area for young girls that are, maybe in foster care, that are dealing with the same kinds of things that you have to deal with. And maybe that might be something that would be inspirational to them as well. Because you know, when I hear your story, I really hear a lot of benefit that you can provide to people who are going through it, who might be going through it, who have gone through it, and you can really, you've been able to kind of write yourself on the right path, and you're now being a contribution, and I think that might be an area to investigate as well.
Also, I would like to ask you, Miss Simmons. Um, I guess this is like a counseling question. What would you say to your younger self at this point?
What I would say to my younger self?
Yes.
Oh man, that's a good question. Um, I would say, I would say, girl, you are so young, you got your whole life ahead of you, but life is an experience and it's a teacher, and you're about to go through some things, and it can only make you stronger. It's going to make you stronger, and it's going to benefit you in the end. Because through hell, there's some heaven at the end.
Most definitely. I also have seen that you're also a mother.
Oh yes, I have.
Can you tell me a little bit about your child, if you don't mind?
Oh yeah, children. Yeah, I have
Oh,
two daughters.
oh, two.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. One's 23, and the little one is 13, 10 years apart. So yes, I
Mm.
have a 23-year-old daughter, and they both got their own different personalities. One's an adult, and the other one's a teenager. And motherhood doesn't come with a guidebook. It doesn't. You do the best you can. You hope for the best. You try, and you just hope that your child doesn't go down the same path that you've gone down. If it's a path like prison, like a path that I've been down. So I try to do the best I can for my children now, and like is never too late to provide and teach and nourish your children, no matter what, no matter what you've been through. So I've been going out of their life for a good 11 years. I missed 9 birthdays, and I missed a lot. I missed a lot, because of my mishaps. And ever since I've been out in 2015, I've made a tremendous comeback, and I've been a supportive mom that they need. But it's still not easy, because you get the things thrown in your face, and you get the little attitudes and stuff.
I know that's
It, it
part of the
happens.
system, unfortunately.
Mhm.
Children don't forget, you know. Um, I wanted to find out something because I know when I went to school for social work, they always said, especially when you become a counselor or a social worker, that you should be in therapy yourself because it's very necessary. And I've been in therapy for God knows over 20 something years, and I know that it has helped me, tremendously to deal with the stress that you go through on a job, the stress of the daily experiences with clients that you're going to see, because now you're going to be on the reverse side of the desk. You're not going to be a client. You're going to be a counselor or a therapist or a social worker one day. And have you also looked into those systems of help for yourself?
Yes, actually, I am seeing a therapist because I live in Bedford-Stuyvesant, Brooklyn right now. I've been out there for almost 4 years. February make 4 years since I've been living in Bedford-Stuyvesant. And I go to Woodhull. I do have a therapist that I see, and it just helps me. It helps me come to terms with who I am and about the decisions that I make in life. And it helps me just look at a lot, whether it be children, the job, it just, and then with the COVID thing going on, so I've also got some counseling as well. I started seeing a counselor March of this year, actually. Hmm.
Okay, that's
You
very
know,
good.
counseling is one of those areas that people, especially in our community, seem to kind of shun. So I'm glad to hear that you guys um, are in therapy and it's working and it's making a difference. Because I think that this whole mental health has been one of those things that has been shut in the corner in our community, and is not as public as it could be because there's shame associated with it. People are scared to share that they're in therapy and those kind of things. And therapy is a useful tool to help you keep your sanity. Pretty much. I mean, it really is about clearing yourself and getting out the anxiety and the frustration and the upsets that exist in day-to-day living, and sometimes you don't have any other outlets to do that.
And sometimes, Glenn, if you don't have any outlets, that can be your only outlet. Um, as I said, I'm a very big advocate of therapy. I'm even into specializing in anger management therapy. That's something I was very big at when I was working in the field. We have a lot of anger, inside of us for different reasons, and they come out in different ways, and a lot of people, you know, alcohol or drugs is a way of dealing with that type of anger, and leads to fights, with other people in bars and in clubs, and they wind up in behind bars, for a long period of time because of that anger not being addressed and being addressed in a negative form, So one of the things that I know, I met you about a year or so ago, Miss Simmons. You was at the Harvest Festival that
Yes.
Glenn had put together, because this is the first year because of the virus that we haven't done the Harvest Festival on Southern Boulevard. But I was very glad to see you there. And if I had known that you was interested in substance abuse field and stuff like that, I would have been able to help you. But I still am. Okay, I have a whole bunch of contacts. It's a wonderful field. I mean, up to this day, I feel very grateful for working in that field and seeing people turn their lives around. And my name of my company used to be called A Second Chance in Life. And I called it that because I truly, truly, from the depths of my soul, believe that a person can change and their lives can become better. And it also happens all in their time. It doesn't happen in our time. So I
Exactly.
I want to find out that one question from you. Uh, what time was it when the light bulb went off in your head. And where were you? Do you remember?
Yeah, I was in prison and in 2012, and uh, as I was writing the book, a lot of my life just came flashing back, you know, to me. But I had like a really, really like bad dream, and I'm always having like very descriptive bad dreams. And one of them came to me where it was just like I was just basically trapped somewhere, and like I couldn't breathe, and it felt like things were closing in on me. And when I woke up, I was like, you know what, I can't do this anymore. I was like, I can't. It's that I feel like I'm a prisoner in my mind. You know, not only is my body in prison because I'm incarcerated, but now I'm imprisoned in my mind. I don't have a peace of mind. So me keep coming in and out, keeping up with helping the recidivism rate get higher and higher between Black and brown people and Latino people. I need to stay out of here and try to make a difference. Because when I look around, it's like I see other women. I was on my fourth state bid. They had already did 5 and 6 and 7. They were way worse than a lot of men, you know. And some men I knew, they went one time or twice. They didn't want to go back. And I was just like having bad dream after bad dream, and it was just very depressing. I found myself in a depressing state. Only time where I felt like I was like I snapped out of it when it inspired me to get up, you know, grab your composition notebooks that you got from commissary, continue to write, keep writing. And I wrote through the whole time, and it made my 4 years go by.
That's
But those
wonderful. That
didn't
is
do anything
great.
wrong.
Because
I
I,
just
I,
suffered.
I tell clients to, keep journals, write that journal, every single day. And, write down, words. It don't have to be complete sentences, but just write what you feel, how you get up and you feel. And before you go to bed, you write, how the day was. And I'm very excited to hear that you would like to do talking. I'm not talking, but speaking engagements. Um, and that's very much needed to go into the schools, and talk to the kids. Um, and when I say schools, I'm not talking about high school. I'm talking about elementary school because that's where it starts. People think, oh, when they get to junior high, that's when the problems begin. No, no, it has begun from first grade. You know,
Exactly.
you know.
Well, the devastating thing about all of this is that they figure out how many prison cells they need, and that's determined by the second and third grade reading levels of Black and Latino kids who are under their grade level reading. So that's how they actually determine that's how they predict how many prison cells that they'll need for the future. And so it's critical. And I find it interesting that you, as an author, are creating books for people to read. So because reading is a way of expanding your mind, of escaping your world, certainly. And what you're offering is a glimpse of the dark side, as you say, that your life has been, so that somebody else would then wake up and realize, hey, maybe I'm heading in that direction. Maybe that's not where I want to end up. So I just want to congratulate you and thank you for having the courage, because it takes courage to talk about yourself when you know that wasn't a pretty life. Everybody wants to have the 3 kids and the white picket fence and have the lovely life and Shangri-La, and
Right.
everything is beautiful and pretty, but that's not really how life is. And your ability to and courage to go out and to tell the truth about what's out there, um, I just want to take my hat off to you because that's not easy.
Yeah, I want to
Thank
take
you,
my hat
man.
off
I
to you too,
appreciate it.
darling. And as I
Excellent.
said, you don't have to worry about support. Now that I know you, you know Glenn, we can definitely point you in the right directions with certain things. I can definitely help you with the KSAC. When you're ready to sit for that test, if you wanted to come over here, I can help you prep and test you and so forth. That's what I have done for many,
Wow.
many
Thank you
years.
so
I
much.
got all the paperwork still here, you know.
Wow. Yeah, I
Yeah.
have all my paperwork and everything, and then I have to go take the prep test class
Uh-huh.
from the school, the resource. I don't know if you're familiar with the Resource
Yes, I
Training
am.
Center.
Yes, I am.
That's where I went to get the 350-hour class, the peer, uh, what is that, the peer advocate certificate and everything.
All right.
Yeah.
Get as many certificates as you could
Hmm.
possibly get underneath your belt, you know. How can people reach you? I want to get that out. How people can reach you.
Okay, you can reach me on Instagram, Labretta MZ Chocolate Simmons, spelled together, Instagram, Facebook, Boss Lady Books. I have a business page on Facebook, or Labretta Simmons, and Twitter at Bossy Bad 2015 is on Twitter as well.
Okay. Glenn, who pays our bills? Black Spectrum. Let's talk
Oh,
about what's coming up.
well, Black Spectrum has a season pass that you are not go- you don't want to miss it. You don't want to miss it. So, for November 6th, and again, these are all on Friday. Reunion in Bartersville. And like I said, it's a high school reunion with a big old twist in it. You're going to love the twist. November 13th is Five Guys, a swinging musical history lesson on stage, featuring music from some great legends. November 20th is the Great Parade. It's Broadway comes to the Spectrum, so you're gonna love that. That's a great time as well, a great event. And then November 27th is going to be the holiday comedy concerts. So again, these are all a season pass subscriber. You get access to all of these things, all of these events. And again, they're going to be November, December, and January. So it's going to be next couple of months. They're going to have an event once a week. Go to www.blackspectrum.net and select Season Pass 2020 to 2021, and you can enter your payment method, or you can call Black Spectrum at 718-723-1800 from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. That's Monday through Friday, and get your season pass, and you can get it over the phone if you call in. Back
Okay,
to you.
Glenn. Now, also, how can people reach you, Glenn? Because you are the mayor of Southern Boulevard, and you're a man that has so much information to share with the community. How can people reach you?
People can always reach me at Sufton Boulevard Business Improvement District, 718-291-2110. I'm there supporting the district, but I'm there also supporting at the expansion of new businesses. And we're encouraging all folks because we know the importance of small businesses are what employ our community. So we've got to have and got to support small businesses. Back to you.
Okay, well, also, we're approaching our 5 o'clock hour, but before we go off, I would like to just remind everybody to get out there and vote. We have a few more days left before November the 3rd, and we want to get out there and vote and put out, no matter how long the line is, if you have to bring a camp chair, a step stool, whatever, but get up off your behind and get out there and vote. Okay, you hear me, my Queens people? Get out there and vote. There's so many different places to get out there and spread the word. Please get out there and vote. Matter of fact, I'm going out there tomorrow to York College, and I'll be standing online like everybody else, and I'm going to bring me my chair and sit down, and no matter if it's 1 hour, 2 hours, or 3 hours, but we all have to remember it's very important to get out there and vote and make a difference. So
I voted last Saturday.
I know you
Early
did.
voting.
I was supposed to
Yes.
go with you, but I didn't get a chance to go. But I'm going Sunday. We all are going Sunday. And I also would like to say thank you to the producer and editor of Our World Media, Mr. Joseph Swift, for. But I can't see you at all if it's not for Mr.
There he
Joseph
is.
Swift.
Okay.
Yeah, he's our producer and our editor. And I would like to say thank you for your work. Again, you've been listening to Our World Power. You can hear us on Spotify, iHeartRadio, and iTunes. And thank you all for listening, and catch you
And
all.
thank you for our special guest, Labretta
Yeah.
Simmons. And
I just want to
go
say
get her
that.
book. Yes.
Go ahead. Say your last word. Go ahead.
Go to lsimmons.net to buy the book or to check out my website, okay?
Oh,
Or
Excellent.
Barnes and Nobles or Amazon.
Say it
For a
again.
real
Say it
raw
one more time.
autobiography
Say it.
that'll blow your mind.
Say it again.
I said lsimmons.net, N-E-T.
Okay.
all right.
Excellent.
And again, the one last thing is, if you like what you heard or you like what you see, please get in contact with Our World Media through Cash App. Whatever you can give is appreciated. God bless. Catch you all next week, same time, same place.
God bless. Good night.
God bless.
Hi, I want to let you know about some exciting events happening at the Black Spectrum Theater on Fridays. November 6th, reunion in Bartersville. On November 13th, Five Guys. On November 20th, The Great Parade. November 27th, Holiday Comedy Concert. Go to www.blackspectrum.net, select Season Pass 2020-2021. Enter your payment, or you can call us at 718-723-1800 from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m.